Greetings. If you're watching this video, it means that you are capable of ending a life. And not just that. You are capable of brutality and savagery, the likes of which you previously never could have imagined. But that's not really true, is it? You imagine it all the time. When someone cuts you off on the highway. When a lover takes too long to respond. You see the beast you once were. Or do you believe that having an iPhone and scrolling on TikTok is enough separation between you and the forest which your ancestors fought to survive in, that it completely absolves you of any of their sins? That can't be true, can it? That is one of the core tenets with which I founded my group. And yes, it is a cult. I never pretended to be anything but. And I'll tell you exactly why. Because like many of you, I found myself fascinated by cults after watching various documentaries on Netflix and so forth. Sure, on the surface, I pretended to think, how could anybody do such a thing? That sounds awful. But underneath, where the beast lurks, I said, that sounds kind of cool. And my group was founded upon people who likely couldn't have found such solace elsewhere that we built on our hilltop. That was until the fire. You can see the burn scar here. See all this black, charred growth. It started at the bottom of the hill. Just like our deepest, darkest thoughts. And it crept up slowly as we slept until it reached us. This hilltop was where I spent some of the best years of my life, and where I spent the worst 20 minutes of it. Unlike many other cult leaders, I would love to sit here and tell you that you need to find refuge with me because the world is ending. Because that fire that crept up our hilltop will soon devour each and everything that you claim to love. But I would be lying if I said that. And I think that's where many of the cult leaders before me failed. Because hopelessness can never inspire hope. It's an oxymoron. And human beings thrive on hope. It's why they suffered in the forest for as long as they did, so that you could have your iPhone that you think makes you so much better than the beast that came before you. The truth is, the world isn't ending, as much as we would like to believe that it is. We're not getting off that easy. I would love to tell you that when you go to sleep tonight, it might not all be here tomorrow. A truth that I'm sure you, as much as you may deny it, just like you seem to deny a lot of things, are so excited to believe is real. How many of you, upon learning that World War III may have started at whatever recent news event made you believe this at the time that you're watching, because I'm sure there will be several more. How many of you got a little excited? Finally, it'll all be over. It's a lie. It won't be over. Our humanity will continue into the dark night for many, many, many more generations beyond ourselves. And tell me this, how is that apathy, that hand-wringing? Well, it's hopeless, so we might as well give up. How is that any different than the boomers before you, who simply believed that the world was theirs for the taking because they earned it? How is that any different? It's the same selfish attitude. Only yours is even more insidious, because you believe you did try everything that you could have, even though you didn't. The only thing you tried to do was repost an Instagram story, and even that was too much for you. Even that exhausted you. It makes me sick. No. You're not getting off that easy. You still have to work to preserve this planet for your children and your grandchildren. Even if you are too nihilistic to believe that you have any reason to bring a child into this world. Several of your other dumber colleagues with which you share this earth are going to do it for you. Just like you, they didn't ask to be born. And if they had, they probably would have said no. But they were anyway. And as they choke on smog, they'll curse you for just sitting there and throwing your hands in the air because you thought it was hopeless, even though you had everything that you could ever want. You had your iPhone. You had your fresh air. What was your problem that made you think it was over, huh? Taxes? Overdrafting your checking account? Please. You know something? We were not the only species of human beings. Homo sapiens were not the only ones who fought for their survival on this planet. There were many, 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 many others who would have killed to be in your position and did. And we killed them for it. It wasn't ours for the taking, but we took it anyway. Because we killed them. All of them. Genocide. That's why you're watching this video right now in your earbuds with a plastic container of Kung Pao chicken. Because your ancestors were willing to kill for it. They were willing to kill for you to have those privileges. You should be thanking them. What on earth will our children do? Because we weren't willing to kill for them. We weren't willing to do anything for them. Anyway, that was the core tenet upon which I founded my society here on this hilltop in Los Angeles. And I'll tell you why Los Angeles is the perfect place for a cult, even though you can probably guess. Well, there are several social reasons, but even more geographic reasons. See this? That's the city. And see this? That isn't. Los Angeles is the biggest metropolitan area in America that is surrounded on every side by inhospitable nature. It is surrounded, buried within the void. The battleground with which we proved ourselves worthy of the spoils of the city. That's our pack, our tribe, which so graciously provides everything that we need, even though we did nothing to earn it. Say thank you. I never hid the fact that I was a bad person. Because people like that. We're sick of good people because we don't recognize ourselves in them. The reason we watch those true crime documentaries and we think, hey, that sounds pretty cool, is because they are honest about the brutality that they have inherited. The politicians, the priests, they're not. They have you aspire to something greater, to keep you preoccupied, so that you don't realize that you have every reason to tear it all down and rip their throats out. I never pretended it was anything other than a cult. And people loved that. That was the whole reason they joined. Because why fucking not? Everything else sucks. By now you're probably thinking, well, you know what, Dan? It's just like you said yourself. I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask to be born. I didn't ask our ancestors to fight in the grand arena just so that I could have a shitty job that I hated. And just so that I could wake up every morning and wonder, what the fuck is the point? I agree with you. We deserve some say in our own existentialism. There are so many problems with our society. There are so many reasons that we should give up. And yet we don't. Why not? Take Los Angeles, for instance. Single-family zoning is what destroyed this city. Urban sprawl is what destroyed this city. The capitalist boomers before us who thought it was their right to own a single-family home in the middle of the city but away from any minorities so that they could sleep peacefully at night. And now it's too late to change it. It's too late to add a metro. It's too late to add reasonable infrastructure. So why don't we start again? It doesn't have to be a whole city. It can just be a hilltop. The Garden of Eden. It was paradise. It was perfect. We didn't have to do anything. Perhaps some of you have seen a meme that went something along the lines of a beautiful photo. Okay, wait a minute, I remember now. It was a photo of a beautiful natural landscape, much like this one. Much like one that in Los Angeles we see every single day amidst our decaying infrastructure. And the meme said, "You mean to tell me that the white man saw this and invented a job?" The white man saw this and invented a job. Why do we do it? The tribe should provide. We can have that again. The Garden of Eden can be ours. If we just find the perfect hilltop and we pool together our money, we can have enough food for everyone. We can live day to day with each other, where the only thing that we're worried about is not creating value for shareholders. It's not trying to save enough till you get your next paycheck. It's being happy, being in love, feeling the cool breeze. That's all. That's all that we were meant to experience on this planet. That's why it's here for us. Everything is here for us. It was a simple request. And we used social media to spread our message. I started with a very simple graphic that I made on a website called Canva. And this is not an advertisement for Canva because I actually found it very counterintuitive to use. But it was helpful for making that graphic, which stated very simply, yes, it is a cult. That's all it said. And that's all I needed, because that worked. People joined thinking that it was a joke. And I was able to incept their minds with concepts they never would have been previously, even remotely willing to open themselves up to. But they were, because it was a joke, you see. It was satirical, you see. It's not really what I think. It's just for laughs. It's a bit. Right. What is a bit, though, really? People always ask me that question on my YouTube videos. Is this a bit or is this real? Is this a performance Or is this what he actually thinks and what he actually says and what he actually believes? Are you a performance? Being an actor isn't hard. It's just like when you get a Christmas gift that you don't like, but you have to pretend that you do. You have to give people the reaction that they're expecting from you. We act each and every day. All acting is pretending to feel something that you're not. How many times have we done that? Each and every one of us. You know, in LA, there's a lot of homeless people. And most people feel bad for them. It's very, there's a wasp there, and I don't like those. Those people either feel bad for homeless people or outright despise them. And the biggest question that people ask is, why don't they just go to a homeless shelter? Why do they live on the street in a tent when there are options available to them? There are people who want to help, right? I mean, you give them food, you give them money. Just down there. Look at those tiny houses. Those are all free for homeless people to go in if they want, but they don't. Would you want to live in one of those? I remember a friend once telling me that he came out of a restaurant and a homeless beggar asked if he had any money. And my friend gave him the to-go box that contained his fried calamari. He had already picked 2/3 of the way clean. And the homeless man said, "Ugh, no thanks." My friend said, "Fine, fuck you. Fuck you then." And I said to him, "Why didn't you want it? Are you not a human being just like he is? Why do you think that he would want the disgusting leftovers that you didn't? Just because you think that he should have no other option and he should be grateful for any fucking charity that you are willing to give him? He should be grateful for your disgusting calamari? Why didn't you want it? Do you want to go to a homeless shelter? No. Because they have figured something out. They've opted out of this society. And yes, that means they don't get to reap the benefits of it. That means they don't get to use a public restroom. That means that they don't... Wait a minute. They don't get to use a public restroom. They do get to use a public restroom. They don't get to use a private... You know what I mean. But is it really worth it? We're all going to die anyway. So why don't we live in a tent on the side of the road? Quit your job. Buy some camping supplies. It's not any different than going in the middle of the woods. And so I told people, technically, if you join my cult, you will be homeless. You will be considered a homeless person. Are you okay with that? Do you understand that that is just a slur that we apply to people who we believe are lesser than us? And they said, fine. Because deep down, I know that I am better than them still. Because I am making the choice to be homeless, not like those people who were stupid, junkies. Anyway, this hill was the perfect place because it's very steep on all sides. See that? It drops off. It's very difficult to hike all the way up here, even though it's so close to civilization. But that was also one of the selling points, because I said, listen, you can leave at any time. You don't have to stay here. Look how close you are. That's the Hollywood sign over there. Just go if you don't want to be here. Give people the illusion of freedom. Of course, that's all bullshit, isn't it? Everything that I just spent an hour rambling on about, however long it's been, half hour, 40 minutes, who fucking cares? It's all bullshit that I just fucking made up. Because doing that is pretty easy for me, making up horse shit. It's a gift that I have. I don't know what I believe. I don't know what I think. I'm just making stuff up. Whatever I need to tell people to get out of the situation, to get them off my ass, to make it to the next day. You see this? This is called Topo Chico. It's a hard seltzer. I used to love Topo Chico. My favorite was White Claw. My second favorite was the Travis Scott one, the cacti. And the reason why I loved that one was because it would get me drunk quicker than a regular seltzer. But it was still a casual beverage. If you drink something casually out of a can, then you're just having a good time. You're not an alcoholic. Appearances. Topo Chico. Tell you the truth, I hated this fucking shit. I hated every fucking second on this stupid hill. It was horrible. I can't stand not... There's a little left in this. That's not littering because it was already there. I hate it every second up here. That's why I think I started that fire. But I don't really remember. That's the thing about a fire, is that it really doesn't matter how it started. All that matters is how much it burns. The reason why California has so many wildfires is because we have a wet season and a dry season. We have a season where it rains and lush green grass grows all over the hilltops. And then the rain stops. And all that growth dies. If it was dry the entire year, we would just be a desert. And maybe that would be better for us. But half of the year it isn't. Half of the year it's fertile until it's not anymore. And it only takes one spark to make it all burn. They were all freaks anyway. God, fucking sunburned. My poor bald head.